Hello, this is Matthew Brooks for MMH, the home of rock radio. I'm here with Kevin Hoffin, who's a criminology lecturer here at BCU. How are you enjoying the symposium so far?
I'm loving it, to be honest. I mean, I've seen some great panels so far. I'm presenting one later myself with a couple of colleagues on napalm deaths you suffer. And to be quite honest with you, it's been great to be a part of this.
Excellent. So, you are a criminology lecturer,
Yes.
but you've written a lot about black metal, and obviously you're talking about napalm deaths you suffer later on. What attracted you to writing about metal and being involved in that in a more sort of academic, if you will, standpoint?
Well, it's a bit of a story, to be honest. When I was doing my masters, I just discovered black metal, right? And I'd always been to death metal, but I just discovered black metal, and I thought maybe I can do a sort of scene analysis for my thesis of the second wave, the Norway scene.
Yeah.
And that went really well. And then I went back to do my PhD, and my supervisor said, well, why don't you continue this, but make it a sort of comparative piece between like UK's ideologies and Norwegian ideologies? So that's how I started writing about black metal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of got me where I am today, really. I mean, so far, I've published about 4 papers on the subject. And I also love comics, and I've published stuff on that as well. So I've managed to create a career out of 2 of my hobbies. It's pretty good, to be honest.
That sounds really fantastic. So, how does the sort of criminology side of things tie into black metal?
Well, like I said, the Norwegian scene, as we know, the Norwegian scene turned into this system of macabre one-upmanship, where bands would be at war with Christianity and put that across in the most sort of illegal ways. Arsons, murders, a couple of suicides. And what sort of struck me is that black metal has never really stepped away from those shadows. I mean, there's scenes all over the world, but it's still primarily associated with what happened in Norway 25 years ago. So one of the questions that I ask is why? Why is that? Why can't we just lay that to rest? What is so sort of ubiquitous about the idea of the Norwegian second wave that means that we can't escape it? Because there are Islamic black metal bands, there are black metal bands that have never even seen Norway. So how are they sort of so tuned in with this Nordic fantasy?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. A couple of things as you were asking those questions occurred to me, but I'm sure you've got a much more developed idea of the answer to those questions. But it's sort of like, obviously there's that sort of confrontational aesthetic and the way that Norwegian scene has massively influenced every single band in black metal that's come afterwards. You can't get I don't think you'd be able to find a single black metal band now who wouldn't say, oh yeah, we love Mayhem and all of those bands from that scene. But obviously, that's a very surface level, top of my head analysis, and wouldn't pass as an academic paper for anyone's money.
It's a start.
Yeah, I suppose. But, what sort of things have you come across that people might not expect about the reasons why we're still obsessed with that?
Principally, okay, did you catch a film early this year, Lords of Chaos?
I didn't see it, but I saw a lot of uproar from really devoted black metal fans about it.
I was one of those.
Oh, okay.
I was sitting in the cinema on my own watching that, to be honest. That's eerie. It really is eerie watching a film on your own. But one thing that film sort of put across is that black metal was this all-encompassing evil that was from the forests of Norway, but was being performed by kids. And that dynamic they put across really well. It's probably the only thing they did put across really well. And how that sort of expanded outwards. I mean, the original way it arrived in Norway was, through Venom, right?
Yeah.
But what didn't translate so well was the sort of tongue-in-cheek nature of Venom. Yeah. So, Euronymous would sit there and watch Venom and go, this is it, this is evil, this is what we want to be. And completely missed the point. So what we have is this sort of legion of ultra-serious 90s black metal bands that burn churches, wear spikes and, daub themselves in corpse paint. But what they're actually doing is taking what was from before and stripping away that humour element, that wit element, and leaving what they had left. But one thing that I am starting to lately sort of put across is I want to reframe the whole evil idea. Because when these kids here, they want to be evil, like all kids want, to show some sort of personal sovereignty, right? They want to put across this evil aesthetic. And they're looking through, what's evil, what's evil? Nazis. So they start to adopt this Nazi imagery. Now, that is generally seen as, these kids are Nazis. No, they're not. In a way, what they're doing is they're not subverting any morals. They're just, what they see as evil is exactly the same as what we see as evil. Nazis. So that's what they're saying. It's not a subversion of morals at all. It's basically just shock tactics and aesthetics. But of course, you get a lot of people that jump on that and go, they're Nazis.
Especially in the current climate, it's very easy for people to do.
There is a lot of straw man going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of research with a lot of black metal bands, and I've never met a real Nazi. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how I know I've never met a real Nazi. Because real Nazis are proud of the fact they're real Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, Antifa, I appreciate what they do, shutting down shows, but sometimes it goes a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Like, this guitarist used to deliver a pizza to the sister of somebody who used to be a guitar tech for a guy who was once recorded a song as a session musician to a Nazi. Right? And the links are getting more and more tenuous.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with shutting down Nazi music, right? There is a space for it, but it's way over there, way away from me. But when it gets to this sort of thing, what we're actually doing is we're diluting the term Nazi to the point where it doesn't mean anything anymore. Where members of the left, of which I do sort of politically place myself there, but what the left are doing is anybody who is slightly more to the right of them is getting called a Nazi. And it's diluting the term. So yeah, there are Nazis out there, and NSBM is a big thing. But if you come across them, they're proud of it. So it's a bit of a problem for me.
Yeah, I totally understand that. So just to sort of wrap this up, is there anything that you've got coming up soon? Projects, talks, papers coming out?
Yes, actually, I really would like to talk about this. BCU has opened up a project called Birmingham 2029, which is essentially going to do for Birmingham what the Chicago school did for Chicago back in the 1950s. So we're going to sort of essentially dissect it. We're going to be analysing every different area, so put together a sort of cultural profile. And that's the sort of thing that myself and a couple of my colleagues are working on, the cultural profile of the music. And what we intend on doing is pretty much immersing ourselves in it for the next sort of 3 years. It's going to be a lot of fun. And eventually coming up with some sort of, model of Birmingham, right? That's the best term I can come up with, isn't it? What's constructed it, what's gone into it. I mean, the Homer Metal exhibit, the Black Sabbath one, the first room you go into talks about something that I like to talk about, glocalization, which is essentially the opposite of globalization. Glocalization is when a person looks around at their immediate surroundings and picks out bits that they want to appropriate. This is the whole sort of spirit of my black metal thesis, in that black metal culture has done that. I.e., you don't have one sort of monolithic black metal culture. You've got lots of different sort of iterations from all over that they all have similar motifs and symbols, but the meaning behind those is slightly different. So that's my...
Okay, that sounds really, really fascinating. Thank you very much for speaking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.